Ex-TMZ employee claims Amber Heard's staged photo op of alleged Johnny Depp bruise in 2016, which is, you know, one of the hardest parts we've had talking about all this stuff is like, I want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, or I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, and like more and more stuff just tends to come out, and I'm just like, I have a very hard time not losing my empathy for people in these situations when you find out how much of the world for celebrities is manufactured.
The Jussie Smollett thing really bothered me. I didn't know at the time if it was a lie, if it was true.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, when you go back and watch the testimony knowing that he was lying, it's like that people are capable of that.
And he's out now. He's out. He's got a new movie coming out from like BET Plus.
Yeah. Wow.
Like they
a single.
Like yeah. Oh yeah. He's got the really bad. He made a really bad single.
Basically spoken word rap type of confessional style.
We tried to talk it. Like we tried to like listen to it here, and we just couldn't get. It was so brutal. It was so ridiculous. So it says a former TMZ employee testified on Wednesday at the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard defamation trial and lifted the curtain on how some stars work with the paparazzi. The key here is the word "work," meaning that it's everything you're being shown is kind of, it's a circus.
Because I think that celebrities get into the mindset that they're either going to be a victim of the paparazzi or they're going to partner with them to make the outcome they want.
So they have to kind of head it off at the pass.
Yeah,
and
you don't really have the option of just ignoring.
As nice as that would be, right? Like the most successful like celebrities that I think are the ones that just stay silent, but they also have to probably work twice as hard to stay relevant when they can't, you know, give their hot takes 24/7 or constantly have stuff in the news. I mean, somebody like Denzel Washington is a good example of somebody who's like, he's just got his decades of his body of work speaks for itself. He's so ingrained in the industry that he does not have to talk about these issues if he doesn't want to. But I think a lot of younger celebrities think that they do.
Yeah, I think Ryan Reynolds is a great example of someone that's kind of balanced it out. Did he buy Boost Mobile? Is that what it is?
And it was like, I'm not sure if it was Boost, and then they renamed it something. I've seen their commercials here, like down in the living room.
He's making his own commercials with his business that he's not working for somebody else. He's not an actor. He doesn't feel like he has to make a big deal out of things to become famous and stay relevant because he has a huge company and he's having fun with it.
Yeah, and in the movies he does, he's built established properties that his name kind of sells itself now as well, like his roles. The movie I was thinking of the other day, I was referencing, like talking about like escapist entertainment and media, and I was trying to think of like what the movie was. It was called his new one. It's called The Adam Project on Netflix, and I couldn't remember it for the life of me when we were on air the other day. But you know, he's like, it was like the first movie he's made in a while where he wasn't playing like a weird version. See, that's what you got to do in the stink bugs there. He was playing like a weird version of himself, right? So he's an example of someone that doesn't have to. But here it says, Tremaine testified that he was instructed to dispatch photographers to a Los Angeles courthouse on May 27th, 2016, the day Heard filed for a temporary restraining order from Depp. He said his news producers would not have given him that assignment without verifying the credibility of the source who sent the tip that Heard would be filing a TRO. So she's doing this expecting people to be out there so that they can document it, and that just goes to show that it's all kind of a circus. It's all a large television show that you're being forced to entertain, only they're telling you it's all real.
And it's what you mentioned earlier where she was like holding the tissue, looking down at the cameras, and she wasn't moving for a second because she knew she needed the photo op.
And it says right here, it says, we were trying to catch Amber leaving the courthouse and an alleged bruise on the right side of her face, he told the court. She was going to sort of stop and turn towards the camera to display the bruise on the right side of her face. And then he says the alleged bruise. So like that, even right there. So say the bruise, let's give her the benefit of the doubt and say that the bruise is real. Whether, well, you know, a lot of people have testified to say that that Johnny Depp has never been violent in his life, that there's no reason to believe that he'd be like that. And then there's also the other evidence that he definitely like.
There was an ex-girlfriend of his that alleged he threw a wine bottle at her.
Yes.
That hit the wall.
But if we're supposed to go on the idea that like where does the majority of the testimony lie? It's like the majority of the people in his life have said that he's a non-violent person.
And then Kate Moss just came out and backed him up again, saying that he like did this valiant like savior scene basically for her, carried her into her hotel after she fell down some steps.
And Courtney Love said that he gave her CPR in '95 at the Viper Room.
Pretty much everyone who has personally known him is coming out to back him up now.
But if we're supposed to give her the benefit of the doubt here and say it's real, it's still a show. If she's still literally, if they're telling you she's going to come out of the courtroom, she's going to pause, she's going to turn, you're going to take the photographs, there has to be a reason to do that. And the reason is because it will both play well for her divorce, which ended up becoming an issue later, or it's going to play well when she writes her op-ed, because then there's pictures to go along with it.
Did he say that Amber Heard had set it up too?
They get into that. Basically, they say that they deal with like their agents. A lot of time they deal with these people's agents, so it's somebody in her camp. It says Tremaine said he was assigned to. It says Tremaine said he was assigned to photograph Heard amid the contentious divorce on 3 separate occasions. On August 6, 2016, he was instructed to dispatch paparazzi to a parking lot adjacent to the law office where Heard was set to appear for a deposition. And then they asked, "Do you typically send paparazzi to the parking lot of law offices?" He says, "No, not at all." "Did you get the shot of Amber Heard?" Yes, we did. On August 12th, 2016, Tremaine testified that TMZ received a video depicting Depp slamming some cabinets that was captured by Miss Heard. The video was sent through their email tip line. He then confirmed that TMZ owns the copyright to the video. And they say, how does TMZ actually obtain the copyright if it's sent over a tip line? He says, the only way to obtain copyright over media would be if we shot it ourselves, if it was sent to us on the tip line and the source verified it was from the original copyright owner, and then either purchased it from that person or it's given to us. And then the third option would be if it was directly given to us by the copyright holder, like the direct source. So her phone of him smashing cabinets, he says, it was a much shorter video that's been played in this trial, Tremaine testified. There's been a bit at the beginning that was played here when Miss Heard is seemingly sort of setting up the camera and getting into position. And then there's a bit at the end where she's seemingly snickering and looks at the camera. That part was not present on the part was received. So it shows that she was looking to catch him in a compromised position and then send it off to TMZ. It's all a show. I was
wondering why she couldn't have edited those parts out, or at least edited that part at the end.
I don't know if they might require to have the raw video feed. Like if they get an edited clip, they can't know what's been edited. So like even if you film something on your phone, right, and then you go in and you open the editing program and you can change the handles on the video, make it shorter, make it longer. I do that for skating clips all the time. But then it shows up as an edited file, .mov -1. So if the metadata doesn't confirm that it's a raw video file, they can't know what's been edited out. So they may be weary of actually hosting that.
It could also be that Amber's just was so happy that she got the footage that she didn't care. There's a hubris in a way, like I got him.
Exactly, and that's why I have such a hard time. And every time something like this happens, we're going to talk about a thing that came out about her basically saying that she's getting, it's like it says she's basically getting thousands of death threats, and I have a lot of empathy for somebody going through something like that. But then I hear the audio of her telling Johnny Depp, no one's going to believe you if you tell them that you were a victim of domestic abuse, and saying stuff like, I didn't punch you, I hit you, quit being a baby.
We've talked about celebrities saying that they're receiving death threats before, and you have to think about whether they're just getting a bunch of trolls who are just throwing stuff out there, or if there are some credible threats. And I don't believe that there are credible threats.
That's a good point. The word threat, I mean, that indicates that it's an actual threat. That like the illusion of a threat is not a threat. Mm-hmm. So if it's a tweet that says I'm going to get you, if it
that's just says
not a real
KYS,
threat.
That's not a death threat.
Well, we're going to talk about that later when we talk about Ricky Gervais, when they talk about words causing harm. I'm like, how do you quantify that? Mm-hmm. What does that mean? Like how do you actually define what harm is? Like, are you saying that his words are going to cause physical violence? Are you saying that those words caused you to do something to yourself? How do you quantify what that means? So when they say stuff like she got thousands of death threats, that is a nebulous term. Now, it's still not a pleasant experience to have to experience, to see thousands of people sending awful things to you. And the stuff being said to her outside of court is absolutely vile. But it's like I said,
in person, you mean?
Yeah, like when she's going into the courtroom, people are like, yeah, I watched a video of it earlier. Like people are like, I mean, the windows of the SUV are closed, so I don't know if she can even hear it. But just
and the people who have been gathered out there every single day are probably definitely unhinged.
Yeah. I'd be more worried about them than the people sending you stuff on Twitter.
Yeah, something I do believe is the people who are arguing about this trial online probably are sending death threats to each other.
Yeah.
The bots who are manipulating the conversation also online are sending death threats for sure.
I'm wondering too if someone posts a threat on Twitter and then it gets retweeted 1,000 times, is that 1,001 death threats?
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Do they
Is it just
multiply?
one? Yeah.
You get hit with like 100 counts of making death threats. Like, I didn't do that. Somebody else. Technically, that guy made the death threat.
I know there are people crazy enough that they would try to endanger her, but it hasn't happened yet. And I know that she probably has a very strong like security detail.
Another reason I believe it is because like her crying while she's on the stand about her getting the death threats is the first time I've actually believed any of her emotions
ever.
Yeah, all the rest of it seemed very manufactured. That of an actor. That one actually seemed like she's overwhelmed by what's going on.
She's got this victim mentality, and for real or not, I mean, Johnny probably beat her up. They probably beat each other up, but like
she believes that they
That's what we've
beat
been
beat each other up. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to go off evidence alone. Her saying that to him means that I know for a fact that she did that to him.
But the
Smacked him
reality
around.
is that we can't know.
We can't know. But it's just very hard when she comes off, and the things she's been caught on camera saying is so unlikable and so inhumane to treat another person like that, and then actually like kind of goad them into the fact that no one's going to believe you. It zaps my ability to give them much empathy or sympathy.
yeah, and I think her playing this victim, she's playing the victim hard, whether she wants to or not. Johnny's suing her that. People sense blood, like the wild animal and the human senses weakness, and they want to, if they see someone being a victim, they want to go get the victim. Like
Her
that's a victim.
fears.
And she's pointed out that she thinks a lot of this has to do with the fact that this is post Me Too, that this is a lot of like men feeling like this is the only woman in the world they can actually criticize.
A lot of people feel that Me Too went too far, and certain people threw out false accusations, or they exaggerated things, or they just were set out to ruin certain people's lives and got away with it. And then now we have this like post Me Too so-called imperfect victim that they've been permitted to unleash their rightful anger at. And also, you can't really criticize women anymore in the public, who are like women in the public eye, or else you're going to be accused of hating all women.
Yep. It says she alleged that Johnny's not doing anything to stop the internet trolls who are targeting Amber, insinuating he's almost encouraging it, and says that she wants Johnny Depp to just leave her alone. I do believe that he is almost too charismatic in a way. Like I
think he's loving seeing her come undone.
Partly that, and I think partly like if I'm to be charitable to him, he's seeing like his once like broken career like rebuilding itself with all the positive press that he gets. So I think if I'm being charitable, he's joyous at the fact that his career is being reborn. Probably my more cynical side says yes, maybe he's just also like he feels victimized, and he feels now that he's vindictively pushing back on her and says like she's deserving what's happening.
I get that. I've been in some wild relationships in my past where the girl, from my perspective, was lying, would say things about me. I was like, well, that didn't happen that way, and she'd be like, well, I'm going to make sure everyone thinks it does, like kind of mentality. And you're like, whoa, if I can get that person on the stand and expose them as a liar, like when she said, I donated, half my $7 million settlement, my divorce settlement to charity, and then it turns out no, she pledged it. And they're like, you said you under oath you donated it. She's like, I did, I pledged it. And they're like, well, pledging is not donating.
And then she blamed him for saying like, you're suing me, so I couldn't donate the rest.
Right, but it turned out she's just a liar. Like she's just lying on under
or
oath.
Elon Musk.
Came
in to save the day and pay it for her.
The funny part will be at the end of this trial, if Depp for some reason wins and Elon Musk just walks in and writes Johnny Depp a check for $50 million.
I think you're right
Sail
too.
away into the sunset.
This is definitely like another movie for Johnny, whether he's getting paid for it or not. He'll get a settlement out of it. Like I'm surprised. Like I was saying before the show, they're not charging $5 a month so that you can watch it yet. But there are probably legal implications.
I'm assuming that you can't charge to see justice done in the courtroom.
People would, because it's Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
That's
it's just
for sure.
first come, first serve. So if people have been like camping out overnight and then they banned that, you can only camp out starting at this hour of like dark 30. People are crazy about it.
Yeah, they were kicking the people out, saying like you can't camp out overnight to come here the next day. Like, don't these people have jobs?
No, they don't. That's crazy.
It's the gig economy.
It's the stimmy money that they're living off of right now.
That money's long gone. Oh my gosh, with inflation, that money is like that $1,400 is like negative money now.
Food stamps, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It says, and then she says it's been an emotional testimony for Amber. She started crying when answering questions about how the drama with Johnny is ruining her acting career. Again, I say say, you know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You guys did this to each other. It says that those are rare moments when she is on a movie set. There are tons of triggers from allegedly abusive relationship that can derail a production. And as we previously reported, the head of DC Movies, that's Walter Hamada, said that her lack of screen time in Aquaman 2 had nothing to do with this trial. It had everything to do with just a lack of chemistry with Jason Momoa. And then to your point about calling her a liar, it says at the end, it says, Amber also says that the negative attention makes it harder for her to do charity work. So I don't know what charity work, like, remember, one of the biggest affronts that I had about all this was that she was like a spokesperson for domestic violence. Well, where even if you were also a domestic abuser, so I don't like the idea of somebody who openly on camera admitted to domestic abuse being a domestic abuse advocate.
There are
Sorry.
a couple of drunken cokeheads that were beating each other up. It's really disgusting that society has like circled around it so heavily. I think you mentioned before, it's kind of an indication of where the culture's head is at right now. For better or worse. I mean, it's interesting, but like to a fault.
We're like obsessed with their dysfunction and like taking the dysfunction outside of ourselves and observing it on somebody else.
I was too young to know, but like I imagine that there was like it feels safe to do this because it's so overblown, because like there was a similar cultural fascination with the OJ trial or things like that, which are far more somebody actually died in that case, but the public's fascination was nonetheless very much heavily gripped, and everyone was talking about it. But it became a sort of thing where you have to disassociate from what happened if you're going to talk about that, like water cooler talk, right? It became about if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. So what you remember about it isn't that people died. What you remember about it are folksy Johnny Cochran aphorisms and OJ getting off and then writing a book about how if I did it, this is how. So it's weird that we as a society have found ways to kind of disassociate from these topics and actually talk about it as if it's entertainment, when it really is the sum destruction of two people's lives.
It's become like a genre, true crime, I think it's called. It's an actual genre of TV now.
Yeah, well, like they had like The People versus OJ Simpson did very well, and then right after that, a whole bunch of very similar type projects.
God knows this is gonna be one of them, like big time.
This
I
one
bet
might
this will
actually be
be
too
like
hard to do.
cinematically adapted really quick. Maybe they're doing it already.
They're gonna have to hire somebody to be like because everyone's making fun of how Amber Heard can't act, so they're gonna have to hire a good actor who's good at doing
Good
bad
at
acting.
pretending to be a bad actor.
What if they hired Johnny Depp and Amber Heard to play the characters?
We were talking about that too.
That would be the ultimate
Yeah.
it's truly is like, this is just ridiculous if they
humbled themselves and they beat themselves in the movie, they each make like $20 million for that'd be awesome.
Shit, like whoever loses, like I got to pay that money back now. So like, yeah, like I might have to take the $20 million thing to make. And then Amber's like, they're like, I have to act badly. They're like, yeah, we think you can figure that out, Amber.
It's like two fighters fighting that can't stand each other, but they're fighting for the purse.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
Basically.
That'd be great.
I don't know who would the other people, because the other people aren't actors, so we would have to get actors to play the lawyer, the lawyer that everyone thinks Johnny Depp is in a relationship with, and that poor lawyer of Amber Heard's who must just go back to her room and cry every night because it just seems to get worse.
I'm trying. She was like, I'm trying here. I think, didn't she say something like that?
I'm
giving it my best.
That's all she can really do.
They really thought she was like on the verge of a breakdown in court. Like
she's like, I just can't win.
Damn.
Everything keeps going wrong. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.